Hello everyone, welcome back to Code Studio, and in this video we will be discussing a question that appeared in the recent Educational Codeforces Round 87 Div 2. The question I am discussing in this video is a question of that contest, alarm clock. Just get a glimpse on the question and find the algorithm used to solve that problem. The link to the question is given in the description right below. You'll also find the link to the solution that I have added on my GitHub repository right in the description below. What the problem actually gives us are four variables: A, B, C and D. A is the total time he wants to sleep. B is the time he sleeps for the first time. C is the time he sets the alarm for, and D is the time he takes to fall asleep. We should give the total bedtime of 𝐴𝐴 as output. So what is the exact problem like? I'll be explaining you using flowcharts. That would be a very useful method in understanding the whole problem scenario. 𝐴𝐴 sleeps for the first time. He sets an alarm for some B minutes, the time that is B minutes, and he sleeps for that whole particular B minutes. A is the time 𝐴𝐴 wants to sleep to take rest. In the first shot, if 𝐴𝐴 sleeps, then he completes the sleep cycle. If 𝐴𝐴 does not sleep, he sets his alarm again. Since his sleep got disturbed, he sets his alarm again, wherein he takes D minutes to fall asleep after the alarm is set, and alarm is set for C minutes. Right. After setting the alarm, if 𝐴𝐴 sleeps, then he completes the sleep cycle. If he doesn't complete his sleep cycle, then he sets his alarm again and follows this loop over and over until he completes his sleep cycle. The case when 𝐴𝐴 sleeps for the first time is nothing but B greater than or equal to A. That actually means the time he slept for the first time is greater than or equal to the time he wished to sleep for, then we say he completed his sleep cycle. If in the other case, when B is less than A, he sets his alarm again. Fine. When he sets his alarm, let us assume this case when D greater than or equal to C. D greater than or equal to C just means that either 𝐴𝐴 did set his alarm for C minutes and took exactly C minutes to sleep, that is D equal to C. Then he doesn't actually sleep because the whole time he takes to fall asleep is completed by the alarm tick starts. Or else, let us assume 𝐴𝐴 takes more time than he set his alarm for, then he never sleeps. So this is a never-ending loop that he sets his alarm again and again and again. This means he never completes his sleep cycle. This is a very important case that we should keep in mind of. The other case would be C greater than D. When C is greater than D, we should follow this particular method to find how much time did 𝐴𝐴 spend on his bed. So the time left to sleep after the first time 𝐴𝐴 slept is A minus B, because 𝐴𝐴 slept for B minutes and there are total A minutes he wished to sleep for. So the time he has to sleep extra is A minus B. The time 𝐴𝐴 actually sleeps in each iteration of setting an alarm clock is C minus D. The time he set his alarm for minus the time he takes to fall asleep is actually the time 𝐴𝐴 sleeps for every iteration, right? So the number of iterations required to complete the whole cycle would be ceiling function of A minus B by C minus D. Let us assume if A minus B divided by C minus D is a floating point number, then we have to give the number of iterations to be one more than that. That is actually nothing but a ceiling function. Fine. So the ceiling function of A minus B by C minus D actually gives a number of iterations 𝐴𝐴 has spent to complete his sleep cycle. Each bed time for the iteration is C because 𝐴𝐴 sleeps on the bed for C minutes. So the bedtime would be C irrespective of he did sleep or he didn't. Then observing this whole flowchart, we can understand that for the first case when B greater than or equal to A, where 𝐴𝐴 completes his sleep cycle, the bedtime would be B because he spent B minutes on the bed. And when he sets his alarm again, if there is a never-ending loop, then the bedtime would be infinite because 𝐴𝐴 would always be on the bed, never sleeping what time he wished for. Then we denote the bedtime to be -1 as given in the question. If 𝐴𝐴 sleeps in some given number of iterations, then he completes that cycle and the bedtime would be B, the bedtime he spent for the first time, plus the ceiling function of a minus b by c minus d. That is nothing but the number of iterations Polycarp spent to complete his whole sleep cycle times c, where c is the each bedtime for each iteration. Since we have understood how the process is occurring and what is the final bedtime through this whole flowchart, we will now condense the flowchart into a smaller one, seeing which we can just code for easily. We do not require the whole underlying process while coding for. We just need the condition which we have to account for and the bedtime which is the final output. We will make that more simpler in this flowchart in this way. The first conditional we have to check for is b greater than or equal to a. When b greater than or equal to a is true, that means Polycarp has completed his sleep cycle, therefore the bedtime is b. If the conditional gives a no, then we will check for d greater than or equal to c. If d greater than or equal to c, bedtime will be infinite and we will denote it by -1. If d is less than c, then the bedtime would be b plus ceiling function of a minus b by c minus d times c. This is the whole process, and anyone who wants to take a screenshot can pause the video and take a screenshot for better understanding of the problem. And this flowchart is actually a shorter one, a condensed one, and a more useful one while coding. Okay, enough of discussion. Now let's go straight into our code editors and start coding for this problem. Okay, let me start with including the basic header files that we do every time. So there will be given some number of test cases for us. So let's do this and handle this using a while loop that we have already discussed. Why we are using a while loop instead of for loop in the earlier method. Nothing technical, but it is much shorter and faster to use. Let us declare the 4 variables and input them into our program. After inputting the 4 variables, let us start our main process, the first condition in our flowchart. If b is greater than or equal to a. If b is greater than or equal to a, the bedtime is complete, hence the bedtime is equal to b. Let us also declare a bedtime variable, and in the else we have to handle for our next condition, that is if d is greater than or equal to c, that is an infinite loop, hence bedtime would be -1, and we have discussed why we are using -1 in the concept part. In the else case, we would be returning bedtime to be b plus c times ceil of a minus b divided by c minus d. The next task could be how to calculate the ceil function. So for calculating the ceil function, I'll be using int ceil that would return the value of the ceiling, the value of this whole expression indeed, ceil of this thing. So let me input int a and let us change the function's parameters to be a, b, c and d. So for calculating the ceiling function, the main thing would be to find the remainder when the a minus b is divided with c minus d. If there is some remainder when a minus b divided with c minus d, that means that there is a floating point, that is a floating point number. Hence, we have to add a +1 to the quotient and then return it. So there are two cases here. If a minus b percentile c minus d, the modulo operator, gives some value instead of 0, that means that there exists a remainder, then we have to return a minus b by c minus d, the quotient value +1. Else we have to return only the quotient value because this is an integer and not a floating point number. Fine. Then we will be getting that ceil value in this return value of this ceil function, and then we multiply it to the bedtime of each iteration c and then add it to the bedtime of first sleep, that is b. After doing this stuff, we will print out the value of bedtime and also add an endline character. There is some error here seen. So I hope you have noticed this. I kept a double n earlier and I'm removing this now. Okay. Let's move on to the Codeforces website and let's just check if we are doing perfectly fine or not, and then try our code on the terminal and check if it is running fine or not. So it is given that the numbers can move on to 10 power 9, and we are doing some division and multiplication stuff, right? So it can actually exceed 10 power 9. As a safer side, let me include the integer to be long int. Fine. And let us see, the test cases are limited, so there is no need to include the test cases to be long int. Let us also change the function. I hope this doesn't make any difference, but as a safer purpose I'm doing this for everything. Fine. I hope we are good to go. So let's compile this. Let me copy the test case here and paste it in our terminal. Okay, my answers are 27 check, 27 check, 9 check, -1, 1, 6, 4, 7, 1, 7, 9, 3, 3, 5, 8, 5, 7, 8, 0, 6, 0, 1, 2, 5, 0, 4, 9. Yeah, perfect. All checked. So let us submit this code and verify that our code is working perfectly fine. So this is the code we have chosen for. Yeah, a code run fine, perfectly well. Okay, this is how you tackle a problem. On your pen and paper, try understanding what is given in the question and draw any flowcharts or a procedural way where you are going to follow, and you will get a method, and you will be easily getting a method on how to solve that question. Until then, thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Signing off, Sai Ankit, Code Studio.